Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm Brian from CanvasFab, and we have here
Carlos Suarez, Shots by Loose.
Nice. And we're here on another episode of CanvasFab Conversations. The purpose of CanvasFab Conversations is so that you can get to know a little bit more about Carlos, what happens behind the scenes, what he does as a photographer, how he became a photographer. We're just talking a little bit so that we can get to know you more and also expose you to his work. We will feature his collection. But Carlos, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Okay.
Tell me where people can find you.
You can find me on Instagram.
All right.
My Instagram is at Shots by Loose.
Okay. You've been taking pictures for how long now?
I'd say 4 or 5 years now.
Okay. And how did you first get into taking photos?
Well, I started taking photos. We had a farm, and my parents needed photos for the horses. So what they did was they bought me like a little Nikon Coolpix, like a little point and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I would start shooting photos and photos and photos. And then after a while, my parents would be like, "Hey, Carlos, you need a better camera because we need you to take photos for the horses, and put them on the website." And my parents, I was like, "All right, cool." So they got me a Nikon D3300 on Black Friday, and I would take photos and take photos again, and they would be gone,
mm-hmm.
and my farm was 10 minutes away from my house. So I would stay home. I would stay at the farm, and my parents were like, "Are you sure you're gonna be fine?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be fine. I'll put the horses in the pasture, or the ring, and I'll just take photos of them." And that's what I would do. I would stay home. I would stay at the farm, and while they were gone, I would be in the middle of the day, in the middle of the sun, just taking photos. Sometimes I would have my shirt on. Sometimes I wouldn't have because it was a 90-degree heat in the summer. So my parents and I gave them the photos, and like, "You did this?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I did this." And he's like, "Wow, you got talent." And I was just like, "Thank you. I mean, I've never done this before, and no one ever taught me." So I was just like, "Oh, okay, awesome."
Being a point and shoot though, you like saw right then and there what was happening, right? So were you like looking at it and saying, that's kind of what I want, that's kind of what or were you just taking a bunch of pictures?
What I was doing was with horses. When you take a photo of a horse, you have to make sure both their ears are pointed up.
Okay.
Or their back is straight, or both legs are straight down. So what I would do is I would wait, and I would put it like on a fast shutter, and I would just hold the button down, and then I would look at it. All right, they don't work. Then I would delete them. And in the middle of everything, the horse running around, my parents would say, "Carlos, just snap the photos, you'll delete it after." And I was like, "No, but I'm like a perfectionist. I have to get the shot then and there." So then that was that, and there was one photo I took, and it was perfect. I mean, the horse was just looking back, the sunset was on him, and his ears were pointed up, and it was just like, yes, that's the one. And then we sold him to Egypt after.
Wow, awesome. That's cool to know, like, that, a little device like this puts you on a path
exactly
where you're at right now. And this kind of opened you to, I guess, like being passionate about animals, right?
Yes.
Because, we've seen a lot of animal photography come from you.
Yes.
And in our previous conversations before, kind of along the lines of where do you see yourself?
Yes.
You can kind of elaborate.
Yes.
You mentioned that it's National Geographic.
National Geographic is one thing I want to pursue.
Nice. And I've seen, obviously, you submit or send us your animal photos. You've printed some animal photos. You printed some bird pictures.
Yep.
Actually, we have that bird picture right there. Check it out on our website. That has a ladybug
on its head.
Super cool photo. And even these other ones here, like even this jellyfish. Yeah, that's actually like my personal favorite. Yeah.
That was at the Frost Science Museum.
Yeah, so super cool, great talent.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have the time, check him out, Shots by Loose. Always entertaining feed. So, now coming back to your passion and going back to like you wanting to do National Geographic, what kind of fuels that passion, or what inspires you to say and have that as a goal?
Just I want to do something that I put myself to do. Like, I'll see like a documentary.
Okay.
And I'll be like, man, that would be so cool. Like in the middle of Africa, just sitting there for like 2-3 days, just in a bush, which sounds horrible, just with your camera, just peek there and just in the dirt, just with everything on you, just to get that 1 or 2 shot of the leopard or a lion eating a gazelle or chasing down a zebra.
Right.
Just to get that one shot.
You talked about a story once, actually, with one of the pictures that you submitted. It's a mountain. It was like a mountain ram, right?
A bighorn sheep, yeah.
Yeah, bighorn sheep.
I went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I want to say 2 years ago, in between November to December, and I stayed the week there. And my parents were like, "You going alone?" And I said, "Yeah. Who else am I gonna go with?" So I went alone. I took my Nikon D3300 with two lenses, a 18 to 55 and a 55 to 300, and I stayed in a hotel there. And every day I would go hiking in the mountains. So I would hike Grand Teton National Park. And there was one day I got caught in a blizzard, and I said, you know what, that's not gonna stop me. I'm still gonna keep on going. We did like a 6-mile hike that way and then back. And along the way, we saw a bighorn sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And he was all the way at the top, and I was just like, I got close, and I was just like, no, my lens is not gonna reach. So I waited, I want to say about an hour or two, till he slowly just came down the mountain. And mind you, it was like 20 degrees. And then it like dropped to like -5, and it was snowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like, my backpack is like 15 pounds, and then I have all of the winter gear on, and I'm just there, just like, I'm gonna get the shot, I'm gonna get the shot, I'm gonna get the shot. So, and then I got the shot, and I was even like looking at it like, oh my God, it came out. Like, I waited 2 hours, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I'm gonna have to send it to CanvasFab immediately. So I got back to the hotel, I edited the photo, and I sent it immediately to CanvasFab so they can print it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I remember seeing that image for the first time, and you know, you're awestruck. You know, like we see so many pictures, so many things, and imagine, you know. So like when we got that, when I saw that, I was like, I wonder first and foremost what conditions, you know. But that's super, super awesome, and I think you have a very good eye for composition, putting the animals in frame.
Yes.
So nonetheless, I do hope to see you somewhere in Africa, Europe, Asia,
Amazon,
wherever. Yeah, doing your thing, man. Yeah. I've seen your frog pictures. You have a couple frog photos. Super cool, by the way. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, by all means, check out either his collection at CanvasFab, link below, or his Instagram. Is there a particular passion, or is there something that drives you behind what you do?
Yeah, every time I'll go on Netflix and I'll watch the documentaries about like 10 deadliest animals in the Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll look at it and I'll be like, man, I wondered like what it took him just to get that position to take those photos of the 10 deadliest animals in the Amazon and risk his life. And all right, what type of camera is he using? What type of lens is he using? What is he doing not to get bit by the snakes or by the piranhas or by like the crocodiles? So I'll look at that and I'll be like, man, like I want to do that. I'm scared, but you know what? I'm open for a challenge.
Of course. No, that's and that's amazing that, you know, I feel like us every day as a creative, you know, every day is a new challenge.
Exactly.
Because we're learning something new, or we're Googling something.
Exactly. Yep.
Something that we want to do, something that we're looking at, something that we're inspired by, and it's like, oh, okay, I have something new to try. Or maybe I may be scared about it, but you know what? It appeals to me because maybe that shot is going to be so worth it at the end. Just either whether it's personal gratification. So super cool. Now, what do you also consider to be your strength?
My strength would be that I don't give up on anything. I mean, there's some parts where I'll say, hey, I'm going to do this next 2 months, but then I get lazy and then I don't do it. But that's just stuff happens and complications, and I just kind of put that on the back end. And then I'll eventually get to it. And then once I achieve it, then it's all right. Then you did it. Now you go to the next thing.
Right.
Or the next step.
Right. So you're always like setting up a little challenge for yourself. And that's important. You know, it really is. And I think that as you say, I'm not going to give up, what it makes you do is it makes you go through the whole range of emotion.
Exactly.
You know, so you're not just skipping to the part where you're excited or you got the reward. You know, part of the process is getting frustrated sometimes.
You get frustrated, you have a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. And it's just...
I mean, yeah, like I've lost a couple of drives, you know.
You drop a camera and it's like, oh, I wonder if the UV filter was on it. Oh, it's on there. The UV filter's cracked, but you know what? The lens is perfect.
Right. You know, every day there's a challenge or something. So to say that you won't give up is an excellent strength.
Yes.
Keep on doing what you're doing and don't give up.
Exactly.
I know nonetheless that if that's your attitude, that we'll see you on National Geographic. So next time I'm looking at Netflix, you're going to be in the credits. I'm going to be like, hey, that shot's by Luz. Awesome. So we're now in a place where everything is at the touch of your fingertips.
Yes.
Right. So Instagram, social media. You're constantly getting ideas, constantly getting bombarded. Most of the people that you follow or the stuff that you look at on Instagram, is it like animal based or like what type of photography?
Honestly, it's if you look at my Instagram, you'll be like, are you sure you're doing animals? I want to say like 75% of them are animals, but then there's a lot of people that do urban stuff, and then there's a lot of people that do piers, a lot of people that do the ocean, a lot of people do like the drone shots, people that do underwater photography. So. And a lot of people, they do car shots or automotive, and I look at it and be like, you know what? Them just putting all that stuff on Instagram, it pushes me more, because I'll get inspiration not just from animals. I'll get inspiration from any type of photography, because if I see it, you know what, I like it, and then that pushes me even more to push out my stuff.
Right, because I mean, you never know when you're looking at that same point of view.
Exactly.
Like if, let's say it's a bridge photographer and you're in front of that bridge.
Yes.
Next time you're in front of that bridge, you may be challenged to say, I have to create something that's either on this level or better.
Yes.
You know.
Or next time, you know what? If it was a pier shot, I want to get now a dolphin, waiting for a dolphin for his fin to come over so I can get the pier and the dolphin.
How long are you going to wait for that one?
Oh, it's going to be a while.
You have to call Uber Eats.
Yes, Uber Eats.
Nice. That's the point about creativity. Exactly. Everyone's mind is different, and everyone has a different point of view and a different take. So, nonetheless, cool. Continue to challenge yourself. What do you define success as?
Success is just honestly living life to its fullest. Because for a while there, I was living life like, you know what? If I don't become a photographer, all right, I'll just do something else. Or I was living I'll be honest, a lot of times I was living life like kind of like not, I want to say in the dumps, but like very emotional. I was always sad all the time, depressed. But then I have a really good group of friends with me. Shout out to them. I mean, they're amazing. And they pushed me and they helped me get out of that slump. So, I mean, I owe them everything. And they always, every time I take a photo, I always send it to them in our group chat.
Yeah.
And they're always like, "Oh, bro, you really took that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really took that." And they're like, "No, that's a Google image." And I was just like, "No, it's not a Google image. I'll show it to you from my camera, and I'll pull out my phone, and I'll take a photo of me holding the camera." The camera, because they'll be like, "All right, take a photo with two fingers and a spoon. It's like a joke we had." And I was like, "Really, guys? You're gonna make me pull out a spoon in the middle of the photo?" And they're like, "Nah, we're just messing with you guys." But they're always supportive, and my girlfriend's always supportive, and my parents and my sister are always supportive of what I do. And recently, I mean, my dad helped me get the Nikon D810, which is a full frame. And when I first started, I got a crop sensor. So now it's so much different. I mean, it's just so many more buttons and.
Right, it opens you up to so many different more.
It does.
So much more possibilities.
Yes.
But enjoy your toy.
Thank you.
We do look forward to seeing what you're gonna pull out of that. And you're right. As long as you have a support group.
Yes.
And even if that support group means you by yourself. Because sometimes I will tell you by experience that maybe someone may not understand your vision or what you're trying to do, because no one knows 100% what all of your thoughts are. So as long as you stay true to what it is that you're doing and giving yourself a little challenge, growing, and if you do get in the dumps, so to speak, remember that it's temporary.
It is.
You know, like you're going through a little funk just to help you so that when you're ready, you're going to pick up that camera and say, I'm going to do it better than the last time I was holding this camera. But cool, man. That's awesome. Continue to have that support group. And anything else that you'd like to expand in terms of words of encouragement for somebody that's trying to be a photographer or someone that already is a photographer and creative in general?
The other day I was actually at a car photo shoot, and some random guy, like, he saw me taking photos like on the ground. I was sitting down just waiting for the cars to pass by, and he comes up and he's like, "Oh, you're a photographer?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." "Oh, I would love to just sit down with you one of these days for like maybe an hour or two and just sit at Starbucks, and can you just like help me on Lightroom and help me like set up my camera?" I was just like, honestly, I'm still learning. I don't mind sitting down with you and grabbing a coffee, but I'm still learning, so we can learn together, and it's just a building, because every day you learn something new.
Of course.
So it's just never give up. I look at it, there are going to be days, even sometimes months, that you lose inspiration. But you know what I would do is if I would lose inspiration, I would just look through a magazine or even go through Instagram and type like hashtag birds. And I would go through the whole Instagram and I'd be like, you know what? I need to go someplace that has that bird.
Yeah.
Or I would search like, oh, let's see what type of animals they have now at the zoo. And I would go to the zoo and then I would say, oh, you know what? They just had a baby zebra. Let me see if they have the baby zebra on exhibit. And I would look and I was like, all right, they have it. So then that would get me out of my funk, and then I would start shooting again. And after a while, it's just like, you know what? You can never, with as a creative, you can never lose inspiration.
Of course.
So that's how I would look at it.
As a creative, you can never lose inspiration. Couldn't have said it any better. And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
thank you,
Carlos. So check him out on Instagram at Shots by Loose. How'd you get that name, by the way?
A friend of mine actually, she gave it to me in high school. She's like, oh, your name is Carlos, right? And I've known this girl since kindergarten. And she's like, oh, your new nickname is before that I had a friend of mine, he called me CeeLo in gym. And I was just like, CeeLo, like CeeLo Green? He's like, no, like C and then dash LO. And I was like, okay. So then a friend of mine, she's like, oh, what's your nickname? And she's like, oh, it's CeeLo. She's like, no, it's Loose now. And I was just like, why is it Loose? Just because that's just your nickname. So then during the years, my boys would say, yo, that's Loose. Loose is being loose right now. It's not like I would do anything bad. It's just,
right.
I would be sometimes, if I would be at like a club or something, I would just like start dancing in the middle of nowhere. Or if I'm out and I have my camera and they're like, are you really bringing your camera? And I'm just like, yeah, oh man, that's just Loose. I mean, so they just got to that point where I would take my camera everywhere. I went with them outside and I would take a photo of a sunset. Or they would even clown at me like, oh bro, look at the sunset, you gonna pull out your camera? And I was just like, yeah, open up the sky roof of your car and I'll stick my head out while you're driving and I'll take a photo.
Nice. So that's where you got Loose. That's Loose.
That's Loose.
Stay loose, my friend. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that we've been somewhat of a source of inspiration for you. If you're looking to either to be a creative, you want to find some inspiration, take a look at our Instagram at CanvasFab. Take a look at Carlos' Instagram. Take a look at the people that he follows. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to know more about Carlos's gear or more about our editing process and what happens behind the scenes, let us know. Drop it in the comments below. And we'll catch you around on the next time. Maybe we'll have another video where we're doing like a little workshop in Lightroom so we can see a little bit of your process and what you look for. And cool, we'll take it from there. So as a creative, you can never lose inspiration. Talk to you later, guys.